Slaves were meant to walk with this around their neck for 18 hours every day. Here are the real chain shackles used on our forefathers during the period of slave trade. Why slaves from the Oyo Empire were brought down to Badagry. We have slaves working in the house and we have slaves working in the farm. From the chain being heavy, did you feel any pain in any part of your body?
Yeah, I can feel pain here,
your chest,
at the back of my neck.
Now imagine somebody working with this inside the farm for 18 hours every day.
In the 1400s, when the European first arrived, slavery was part of African culture. So most of the African part of the slave trade was actually carried out by Africans, not Europeans. And today, we are still facing this slavery in a modern way from our leaders. Slavery was started by the Yoruba elite, such as warriors, powerful kings, chiefs, and wealthy merchants. They began to participate in slave trading because it was a profitable source of income. Foreign merchants supplied Yoruba business partners with powerful weapons, such as rifles, in exchange for slaves. This history has made me travel down to Badagry Slave Trade Center, the site where slave trade started in Nigeria, to know more and let you know more how slave trade started and how it was abolished in Nigeria. Badagry is a town on the east side of Lagos, which was a point of no return in the Nigerian slave trade for 400 years. If you are new to my channel, my name is Rafa Whitney. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notification. Like this video by giving it a thumbs up. Feel free to drop a comment below if you have any question, and please share this video.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, boss.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Welcome to Badagry.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
My name is Mobee.
Yeah.
And this is a Mobee Family Slave Relics Museum.
Okay.
This is not the only museum we have in Badagry. We have about 5 sites on land. We have one across the water.
Okay.
And in here is where we have the real chain shackles used on our forefathers during the period of slave trade. The chain inside about 500 years old. So inside you feel the weight of the chain and carry it. What our forefathers walk with around their neck for 18 hours every day. Badagry then was known to be a slave corridor, slave coast. And any slaves captured from the Oyo Empire were brought down to Badagry. So we have a market in Badagry, established in the year 1502, called Vlekete Slave Market. Over 300 slaves are sold inside the market every market days.
Wow.
Over 70,000 slaves have been led out of Badagry every year. So we have the Brazilian Barracoon, which used to be the cell slaves are kept. About 1,600 slaves were kept inside the Barracoon at a time. 40 slaves were kept in the room for 3 to 4 months. They eat, urinate, defecate on each other inside the compound for 3 to 4 months. Even while the women are observing their menstrual cycle, they do it on each other. Before they cross them to the other side of this water. And that place is called the point of no return. Journey to unknown destination. Now there's a well on the highland that is called the Spirit Attenuation Well. Slaves were forced to drink from the water, and the forced them make some recitation, after which they become less aggressive to lose their memory. And that was actually the reason why Nigeria was the largest supplier of slaves during the period of slave trade, because Nigeria contributed about 24% of slaves taken out of Africa. And Nigeria and Angola were the largest supplier of slaves then, with 24% each, followed by Ghana, 16%. Majority of these people were taken down to Brazil. And that's why when you get to Brazil now, you decide that the Yoruba we speak in Nigeria is their second official language in Brazil today. Why? About 38.5% of slaves were taken to Brazil. Taken from Africa were taken to Brazil. And that's why all of our culture in Yoruba land are practiced in Brazil today. While this business was going on, Christianity came in. And so we have the first story building in Nigeria, here in Badagry. The foundation was laid in the year 1842, completed 1845. Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowther, who did the translation of the English Bible to Yoruba version, did it in that building. The first primary school in Nigeria started from the compound, the first church in Nigeria, the first agricultural center. There's also a well in the compound they call the Miracle Well. It's the only well around this area that is colorless, odorless, and tasteless. When you get there, you can drink out of the water. And you compare with the ever water you are drinking. They are the same. Lastly, we have the Heritage Museum. The Heritage Museum used to be the office of the Governor General, Sir Ferdinand Lugard, who did the amalgamation of Nigeria. And so the place was converted to a museum in the year 2002. So you are seeing Badagry in the olden days and Badagry in the present day inside the Heritage Museum. So join me in the museum as I show you the real chain used on our forefathers during the period of slave trade.
Yeah, let's go, guys.
So you're welcome once again.
Okay.
Here are the real chain shackles used on our forefathers during the period of slave trade. Like I said outside, Badagry was known to be a slave corridor. And there are two major slave coasts in Nigeria then, Badagry and Calabar. Any slaves captured from the eastern Nigeria were usually taken down to Calabar, while slaves from the Oyo Empire were brought down to Badagry.
Okay.
Slaves are not being captured from Badagry. They were brought from the hinterland. So our forefathers in Badagry were middlemen between the white and the black. They buy slaves from their fellow black. They resell to the white men. This business lasted for about 350 to 400 years here in Badagry. It was abolished by the help of the man buried here, Chief Mobee. The father of the man buried here was also into the trade. Badagry then has 8 quarters. 6 out of the 8 quarters were dealing with one country or the other. We have the British, the Dutch, the French, the Portuguese coming to buy slaves here in Badagry. So the father of the man buried here was dealing with the British government, slave merchants. And so in the year 1852, the British government and the people of Badagry signed the treaty of the abolition of slave trade, putting an end to the trade. It was abolished in Europe. The judgment was made in Europe in the year 1772. Okay. But they came to Badagry in the year 1852. So the father signed that document with 7 other ships in Badagry. And so the British slave merchants stopped coming from that year. The Portuguese were still coming. And so the man buried here waged war against the Portuguese slave merchants in the year 1888. So officially, slave trade was abolished in Badagry in the year 1852. Okay. Physically, it was abolished in the year 1888 by the help of the man buried here. The father was nicknamed Chief Mobee by the white men because whenever they come around, he usually offer them kola nut. Okay. It tells them in Yoruba language, Oyinbo Mobee.
Oh, Mobee.
Mobee means speak kola nut, eat. Yeah, and so they gave him a nickname from there, Chief Mobee. The family now adopts Mobee as a family name. Mobee nice. Is now a chieftaincy title in Badagry of today. Now also a surname. Wow. It's my surname, also a chieftaincy title. Wow. So this is the grave of Chief Mobee, who stopped the trade in Badagry in the year 1888, and he died on the 16th October 1893. He was buried closer to the chain he brought to his compound, and that's why we have the grave inside this museum. So this is called the neck lock, and this is for the neck of the slaves. Slaves were meant to walk with this around their neck for 18 hours every day. While traveling, this will be on them for 3 to 4 months before they get to their final destination. And you can imagine the weight of the chain on the neck of human being walking inside the farm.
This is going to be up to like, let's say maybe 15 kg.
Now, can I ask this question? How do you feel with the chain around your neck?
Man, I feel uncomfortable. Like, this chain is very heavy.
Then, apart from the chain being heavy, did you feel any pain?
And aside that, this is being hung on the wall, right? On this iron, it's not even all over my body.
Yes.
Oh my God. Hey.
So, apart from the chain being heavy, did you feel any pain in any part of your body?
Yeah, I can feel pain here.
Your chest.
At the back of my neck.
Now, imagine somebody walking with this inside the farm for 18 hours every day.
Still walking.
3 to 4 months while traveling on the Atlantic Ocean before they get to their final destination.
So the slaves work on the farm, and while they are working, this is usually
you have to be around your neck.
Oh my God, this used to be on them.
So this is called the neck lock, and this is called the light chain. The light chain for the babies.
For the babies.
Any child given birth by a slave is a slave. The Yorubas will always say "Ntoba Nieru, Leru." And for children of the slave not to be moving about the farm, they usually gather them together and chain their wrists with this size of the chain. Make them sit down under a tree, far away from where their parents are working. Now let me say this. There are 2 categories of slaves. We have slaves working in the house, and we have slaves working in the farm. Those working in the house are called domestic slaves. The male domestic slaves usually are castrated. Why? The white man doesn't want them to impregnate the wife or children of the white man.
Because they believe Africans has big bola.
So they castrate them. After castration, I don't know if you have animals at home and you've come across castrated animals before.
They usually castrate
dog, goats. Yeah. They become big, huge and tall. Exactly. The same thing happens to human being after castration.
Really?
So they become very big, like a giant.
They have muscles.
So they use them to carry heavy objects.
Wow.
Whenever they are going for war, they are always at the war front.
This is serious.
The female domestic slaves is as wet nurse. These people, they are so selfish. They don't want the breast of their wife to lose shape. They don't allow their wife to breastfeed. Whenever they discover that their wife is pregnant, they impregnate the female slaves. The black woman will now be the one to breastfeed the child of the white. Most time they kill the baby of the black woman or collect that baby and give it to another woman breastfeeding inside the farm. And that is for the domestic slaves. Now for the children not to be playing about the farm so as not to step on what their parent has planted, they chain their hands with this size of the chain, make them sit under a tree far away from where their parents are working. And this is called the mouth clip for the mouth of the slaves. Because the white men are afraid, they don't want slaves to communicate to one another. Because they believe that if they communicate in their local language, they can plan on how to attack the white men. They pierce the lips of the slaves with hot iron, the lower and the upper lips. In the morning, while going to the farm, they put this on their mouth and they padlock their mouth like this. For them not to be able to talk or eat while working on the plantation.
This is serious.
And this is a torture weapon for stubborn slave who refuse to work inside the farm. Slave who disobeys his master, they force this into their hand down to the wrist.
They force it
into their hand down to the wrist. Most times this doesn't go into the wrist easily. You have to break the bone for this to get to the wrist of the slaves. After forcing this to their wrist, they now make them climb the platform. Now you are my master. We both climb this list and you screw this up to the roof of this building. You come down from the platform and remove this from my leg. I'll be suspended on the tree, dingling from morning to night. Now this is what they do to stubborn slaves who refuse to work inside the farm. Most times they died in the course of this. The white man doesn't care because our forefathers were used in exchange of high terms. And this is called the branding iron. During the period of slave trade, slaves don't bear name. They bear the name of their master or any name given to them by the white men. For the white men to be able to identify their slaves, they usually write their name on the body of their slaves. So they have to put this in fire. When this is red hot, they now use this to write the name of the owner of the slaves on the body of the slaves. This we now adopt as fashion. Tattoo is what we call it. And that was the reason why today in Lagos, in Abeokuta, we have some Yorubas with English surname. You can imagine a Yoruba man bearing surname like Stone, Brown, Da Costa, and so on and so forth. For these people to be able to differentiate their slaves from one another, why taking them out of Africa? So that when slaves try to run away, for them to be able to trace the owner of the slaves, they will have to write their name on their body. They put this in fire, of the master. They put this in fire. When this is red hot, they now use this to write the name of the owner of the slaves on the body. And that's what we turn to fashion today. The second function of this is to pierce the lips of the slaves. So as to be able to padlock their mouths. But the last function is to pierce the foot of stubborn slave who try to run away being captured. When this is red hot, he hits this into the foot to pierce the leg or break the bone inside the leg. And this is called the ankle lock for the leg of two slaves. Two slaves are meant to walk with this around their ankle at the same time. And you can imagine this on the leg of two human beings walking at the same time. And this was the money we spent in Africa in those cowries. But cowries was only recognized as means of exchange in Africa. The white man doesn't recognize this as money. And that led to the introduction of trade by barter. High terms were brought into Africa in exchange of human beings. High terms like gunpowder, trigine, cotton, iron, mirror, tobacco, and so on and so forth. Back then, a bottle of dry gin was in exchange of 10 human beings.
Bottle of dry gin in exchange of 10 human beings.
So you can imagine the worth of human being during the period of slave trade.
Human being was worthless.
Mirror was in exchange of 10 human beings, and umbrella for 40 human beings.
Wow.
This is a cannon gun. Why do we need this? They brought this to us so that we can fight ourselves, capture slaves, and sell back to the white men. This was in exchange of 40, the big size of this for 100 human beings. And when you have this, you will need gunpowder to use this. The gunpowder will also be in exchange of human being. Over there is a slave drinking water bowl. And 40 to 50 slaves drink water from this bowl at a time. They drink water from the bowl with their hand being tied to the back. They will need to bend down to lip water like animals. Most time, while struggling to drink water from this bowl, they push one another. They get caught by the edge of the pot. And the blood drips into the water. They drink like that because they have access to food and water once in a day. And finally, for this museum, here's a picture of the spirit at a nation where you'll be seeing at the point of no return. You may not be able to see this right up at the point of no return. So let me quickly run through this. This well was dug by the Badagry chief in those days.
These days.
Why? Because slaves are not being captured from here. Slaves were brought from the hinterland. So they dug the well, they had something to eat. As soon as slaves drink from it, they force them to make this recitation. And after making this recitation, they become less aggressive. They lose their memory. That was the reason why Nigeria was the largest supplier of slaves during the period of slave trade. Nigeria accounted for about 24% of slaves taken out of Africa. Angola 24%. Ghana 16%. About 38.5% of slaves taken out of Africa were taken to Brazil. And that's why you see them worshipping Shango, Eshu, Ifa, Obatala, and so on and so forth. Let me quickly run through the recitation. It goes thus. I am leaving this land. My spirit lives with me. I shall not come back now. My shackles do not break. It is the shackles that hold the ship down. My ancestors bear me witness. I shall not return. This land shall depart. My soul do not revolt. My spirit goes along with me. I depart to the land unknown. I shall not return. This was the reason why Nigeria was the largest supplier of slaves. Those that returned after the abolition of slave trade were the ones we have in Lagos, bearing foreign name, or Abeokuta. We also have them in Badagry. Exactly. We have more of them also in Ilaro. So this was the reason why we have the blacks in diaspora. But thank God for civilization. Exactly. Today they run DNA tests, and the DNA result will show them the country they came from. They usually come with their results to show that they are from Nigeria. But they don't know where they captured their forefather from Nigeria. You are welcome. I don't know if you have one or two questions.
Thank you so much. My question is, these chains we have here, are these the real chain?
The real chain. The real chain.
These are the chains they use?
The real chain.
Oh my God. So these chains have been like, how many years?
They are over 500 years.
500 years?
Because slave trade lasted for about 350 to 400 years. The trade was abolished by the year 1888. And that's over 100 years.
Wow.
So they are over 500 years old.
So what's this?
That's just an artwork.
Just an artwork. Okay.
To show the beauty of... Oh, these are royal musical instruments. Okay. They call this a jogon.
Okay,
the Mobee family is a royal family. I'm from the family. Okay. Just I don't like calling myself prince. I'm from the family. So whenever we have special program, women married to the royal family play this instrument for the royal family alone. So probably you come across women holding this in Badagry. It means the family celebrating program is from a royal family, and we use this to differentiate royal family from other families here in Badagry. It's only women that play this instrument. Men does not play this.
Oh, men does not play it. Wow.
So you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. So guys, this is just the beginning of the adventure. Let's go, guys. Don't forget, if you are coming for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you are a returning subscriber, thanks for always coming. Thank you, guys.